Fetch me a harpoon. We're taking down a shark today. Hello, welcome back to P-Storm. I am Pluvius Lilon, and today we're playing Apollo Justice. And when we last left off, we investigated the murder of Romain Latouche some more, and a lot of signs point toward Darian as the culprit. So, we're gonna just head into court and see how things play out. Well, this is it.
Today's the day it all goes down. And then there was yesterday.
This meeting's over. Sorry.
Just give us 5 more minutes. We can call them back after that.
Sorry, no go. Come on, piano boy, we're leaving. Darian, wait! I never liked you. Either of you.
Huh?
Darn it, we were so close. He was about to tell us. Hey, Apollo.
He didn't want us to hear what much he had to say. I think I know why. Time to bring down a little justice.
Eek!
What was that?
He is heard but unseen.
Who's that talking?
Valiant Grammari! I exclaimed as he walked in through, as he walked in through the door, normally.
Oh wait, no, that's Apollo saying that.
Valiant Grammari! I exclaimed as he walked in through the door, normally.
You aren't the witness today, are you, Uncle Valen?
A preposterous proposition! How could I stand to stand upon the stand? Why, my secrets would be free for the plucking. I might even have to sign autographs. That is why I intend to remain hidden for the entire day.
Ooh, with vanishing magic?
Indeed, I will jump upon an express train and express myself to the next town over. But before I go, a word of warning.
Warning? What?
A grand Grammari glamour resides at the root of all that has happened. Do not forget this truth. A glamour? A spell, a sorcery, a great illusion. Miss Trucy, though it pains me to part so, I need to get in line for a ticket. Farewell!
And there he goes.
He sure seemed happy about that illusion thing.
Oh, big illusions are like the bread and butter of a magician. You can't pull off a show without one. The big illusion is always a spectacle to remember. Usually involves cutting up things like people or elephants, or the Eiffel Tower, anything really.
So he was talking about what we saw at the concert.
Le Miroir's disappearing act.
And Prosecutor Gavin's exploding guitar.
Wonder what he meant by it being at the root of all that has happened.
Well, it's about time. Shall we go?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes?
The scheduled starting time for the trial has been changed. The trial will not be commencing till 10:30 a.m. Sorry for the inconvenience.
Huh? Did something happen? This is a first.
It was by the judge's request. Some urgent personal business.
Great. I bet he stayed up last night watching courtroom dramas.
Apparently he's visiting the hospital again.
The hospital?
I believe it was mentioned that the Chief Justice's son is unwell. Apparently his condition worsened considerably this morning.
The Chief Justice's son?
Oh, that's right. Remember yesterday morning? The judge said he had to go visit him after the trial.
There's an article about it in the newspaper. If you care to read about it yourself.
Article about the Chief Justice's son who is inflicted with incuritis.
Incuritis? Where have I heard that before?
I'll let you read that article for us, Apollo. Just leave the TV guide page to me.
Try not to lose the page with the funnies if you can.
My apologies for the delay.
Also, it's crazy that there are people still making the paper. The judge could have just, or I mean, the bailiff could have just like showed me his phone and go, we're gonna like here, take a look at this. You know, I never look at people's phones when they show me stuff. My mind's always somewhere else.
Court is now in session for the trial, how do you say his name again?
Machi Tobai, our suspect fortissimo.
Right. It's his trial in any case.
The defense is prepared, Your Honor.
The prosecution is ready to rock.
Is something wrong, Your Honor?
No, well, yes. It's just, I've been friends with the Chief Justice since we were students. It pains me to see him going through such a difficult time.
Incuritis, was it? That article said there's no known cure.
Well, that's why they call it incuritis and not curitis. But now's not the time for tears. Now's the time for law.
Indeed. We left off at quite a juncture yesterday.
I asked Interpol about that number. IPXX314206. The agent registered under this number was Romain Latouche.
Thanks for looking into that for us, Detective Crescend. It's a great help.
Oh, no problem at all, Your Honor. I'll be heading out.
Wait! That voice just now. It was him. I'm sure of it.
It was him?
That voice I heard talking to Mr. Latouche when I heard the gunshots fired. It was him. It was Mr. Darian.
No way.
Quite a sensational ending. Oh yeah, Darian also tried to kill Lemiroir yesterday. Who would have thought Darian would guest star in the season cliffhanger as a suspect?
I asked the prosecution to look into this matter. Please tell the court your findings.
Darian Crescend is a member of my band, the Gaviners. He's also a detective, making the current charges serious indeed. Yet after investigation, I have found no cause to alter our case or file new charges.
And your reason is?
AI. We had an AI review it. It's no big deal.
An AI?
Let us review the facts again, shall we? The concert held on the night of the shooting was in 3 sets. The Gaviners ripped up the stage during the first set. For the second set, our guest took center stage. The only performers appearing were myself, Lemiroir, and Machi, along with the drummer and bassist for a total of 5. The shooting in the dressing room, however, took place during the third set. Lemiroir and the defendant, Machi Tobai, had left the stage at that point, and the Gaviners were already rocking. This is when 2 shots rang out at the scene of the crime. Shots heard by Detective Emma Skye, mind you.
And Apollo, you heard them too, right?
I sure did.
Furthermore, Lemiroir herself witnessed the moment of the crime. Well, perhaps I should say she heard the moment of the crime, when she claims to have heard Mr. Latouche and Detective Crescend talking.
But that's impossible. Detective Crescend was...
Precisely. Detective Crescend was on stage getting his groove on, no less. Voila! A perfect alibi.
Does the defense have anything to add to this?
It's true. When I heard those gunshots, he must have been on stage. Still, there's something there that doesn't quite add up.
It appears the defense has no objections. I believe we can safely say that Dorian Krishan's alibi has been acknowledged.
Which means that Lemirar was sadly mistaken. Her testimony cannot be true.
Very well. Of course, if we disregard her testimony, then I see no evidence keeping us from declaring a verdict. If indeed there are no objections...
Uh-oh, Apollo. If he declares a verdict now...
But Prosecutor Gavin's case is airtight. Lemirar might have been lying to protect Machi. How can I rely on her testimony? Wait, what about yesterday in the detention center?
About the case? What about the case?
He wants to tell us about Mr. Latus's death?
This meeting's over.
Dorian?
Machi was trying to tell us something, I know it. Maybe the best thing to do is ask him, under oath.
Very well. This court finds the defendant, what was his name again?
Your Honor.
Oh, right, yes, Mr. Objection.
Your Honor, before you declare a verdict, I'd like to call another witness.
Exactly who else do you need to hear from?
A witness who, until now, has not been given a chance to speak in this court. Because he doesn't speak English.
You don't mean...
I do. The defense calls the defendant Machi Tobai to the stand.
What? But he doesn't speak English.
We'll use an interpreter.
Interpreter? I'm afraid you'll have to look elsewhere. I only speak a few phrases such as I love you and where's the toilet.
The defense would like to request Lemirar as the interpreter.
Lemirar? But there's a possibility she's protecting the defendant.
But she'd be interpreting for the defendant. Why would she lie?
This is most unusual.
Bravo, Air Forehead. Judge, the prosecution agrees with the defense's request. If Lemirar lies, I'll be able to tell. Even my limited knowledge of the language should be enough for that.
Well, if both prosecution and defense are for this, I see little cause for refusal.
Finally, some progress.
Bailiff, please show the defendant and Lemirar to the witness stand.
I suppose there's a first time for everything. Shall we proceed? Your name to begin with, if you would, Lemirar.
Yes.
Also, this would go hard as fuck as an album cover. I'm just saying.
He says Machi Tobai, the defendant.
This is certainly a first for this courtroom. Not that we really need an interpretation of that message in particular.
So far, so good.
Really, dog? You've been presiding over this court for how many years, and you've not had one foreign witness?
Very well, Mr. Justice, if you could.
Huh? If I would what, Your Honor?
Would what? You called the defendant to the stand, did you not, my brother in Christ? What would you have him testify about?
What do I want him to testify about? I hadn't thought that far yet.
Apollo. Wait, aren't you gonna ask him about what he was gonna tell us yesterday?
How can I if I don't know what he was saying?
Excuse me a moment. If I might speak?
Yes, Lemirar?
Just now, Machi said there is something about which he wishes to testify.
Machi wants to testify about something? What could it be?
What sort of testimony is he talking about?
One moment, please.
The suspense is killing me.
What?
What? In the butt?
Well, Lemirar?
According to Machi, he has proof of his innocence.
What?
Sorry, my nose is a little stuffed up. This is a surprise.
Yahoo! Victory, Apollo! We did it!
This is sounding too good to believe. I know what that usually means.
Well, if that's true, then this is vital testimony. Lemira, I mean Machi, please testify to the court.
Very well. He says that word of Mr. Latus's death came as a great shock. But if the killing truly followed the lyrics of my song, I, that is he, could not have done it. He says that because the lyrics are in English, he does not understand them.
I see. He wouldn't have understood the English lyrics to the song. That would prevent him from following them so closely.
I wondered what he meant by proof. Why, he would only have to ask Lemiroir if he knew to know the meaning of the song.
Lemiroir? Did you ever explain the lyrics of that song to him?
I did tell him generally what the song was about, but never in so much detail, and he never asked.
Has my oft-repeated warning already fled that forehead? Lemiroir might be protecting the witness.
Well, anyway, let us proceed with the cross-examination. Mr. Justice, if you would.
Yes, Your Honor. Something's hidden in that testimony. I know it. I'll just have to trust my bracelet to tell me where. It worked yesterday. It'll work today.
I get the feeling he knows a little bit of English. Oh, he's getting shifty-eyed.
Gotcha!
Machi, you can't fool my eyes. You glanced toward her the very moment Lemiroir said the word English. Why? And don't bother interpreting that. He understands me. Machi, tell the truth. You can understand English, can't you?
What are you saying? Of course he can't.
Must he continue this charade?
Mr. Justice, Machi says this. I know the word English.
Huh?
Before coming to this country, he heard me speaking English. He heard the name for his language, that is all.
What? Give me a break.
Is that such an unusual word to understand? Do you not know Espanol, for instance?
Well, yeah, but...
I'm sorry, but he truly does not understand your language.
Well, then explain this. How does he know the crime followed the lyrics?
Have you always been such a suspicious-minded lad? It is simple. So simple it hardly requires an explanation. He read about it in the newspaper.
The newspaper?
The Burgundian Daily Bugle. You can buy it in this country these days, you know. They have already begun to report about this case in our homeland.
I was right.
What is wrong, Mr. Justice? Your eyes, they are quite fierce all of a sudden.
Machi's lying. Maybe it's time to show them proof that he's lying.
Oh,
I have here a Burgundian newspaper. The Burgundian Daily Bugle, as a matter of fact. Indeed, there's a feature article about the case. Could you read this for me, Machi? Burgundian Spider-Man worked real hard for these. That's right, it doesn't mention the lyrics.
What? What is this all about?
I'm sorry, Machi. You couldn't have read about the lyrics in a Borginian newspaper.
What does this mean?
But I don't see how it's possible. I know. He must have heard the lyrics when the police were doing their questioning. Yes.
Not possible. The subject of the lyrics was not brought up in police questioning. I read the full report myself.
So the lyrics weren't in the newspaper and the police didn't mention them.
Has anyone not considered that he might have just read the lyrics on his phone?
The only place you could have heard them was in this courtroom. In English, no less.
The witness will explain himself. Sorry, didn't mean to misgender.
Machi says... He says...
Yes?
It is true I read the newspaper, but this is not where I learned of the lyrics. I was mistaken. Now I remember.
You remember?
He says he heard the lyrics from me.
What? Is this true, Lemure?
Yes, I'm afraid I had forgotten it myself.
Then it looks like Air Forehead's been jumping to conclusions again.
Seems so, yes.
He's eyeing me like he wants to jump on this dick.
No. I was onto something, I know it. I can't let this chance slip away.
Time is an issue today. Mr. Justice, are you finished with the cross-examination?
What are you gonna do, Apollo?
If I'm gonna keep on cross-examining, I better have an angle of attack. Or else. My bracelet's still reacting. Your Honor, please allow me to continue.
If you must, you must. Very well, witness.
I understand. It was I who explained the crime, or that the crime followed the song.
Okay, he's gotta have another tell. Maybe on his mouth. No, not in his mouth. Okay, so it's not in his eyes and not in his mouth. I don't imagine many other places. Oh, I can still... Okay, it might be her fingers. No, her fingers are not out. Okay, there was a brief moment. Here we go. She's doing ventriloquism. Gotcha! Oh, she's swallowing.
Lemire, I'm currently cross-examining Machi. Why should you be uncertain?
Me? Uncertain?
Yes, you swallowed the very moment you told the court it was I who explained.
I see there is little point in trying to hide anything from you.
Lemire, are you indeed protecting someone?
That is not a question with a simple answer. To tell the truth, I do not believe it myself.
Then allow me to answer for you. Lemire, you're protecting...
Who is she protecting? Not Darian, that's for sure. Yeah, it's either herself or Mr. Latouche. I'm gonna guess herself first.
I'm afraid I don't understand what you're saying.
Well,
So sad to go through life being so misunderstood.
I don't need your pity. What I need is another chance. Come on, this is easy. Who is she protecting? What the fuck?
Alright, well, let's save, just in case. I mean, if it's not herself or Latouche, it's gotta be Machi.
Lemire, you're protecting Machi. That's why you lied and told us you had explained how the crime followed the song. I don't fault you for trying to help, but this is not the way. Machi, I believe you didn't do it, really. I trust you. But you've lied to us twice. And now you have Lemire lying on your behalf. If this is going to work, you have to trust me too. Your two lies cover a simple truth. You understand English. You have to.
Witness, is this true? Do you understand English?
Yes, a little only.
What?
First he could see, now he can talk. And you did not know about this, Lemire?
No, I did not. It is quite a surprise.
How many secrets is this witness hiding?
This is last.
Machi, could you tell us what really happened?
No shooting! I did no shooting!
So why were you in the dressing room when I heard those two So you weren't in the dressing room when I heard those two gunshots, correct?
Apparently the answer to that question isn't simple either.
I was in dressing room, behind desk, manager, here on the floor.
Which would be after the shooting, right?
Then there is voice.
Voice or voices? Was it you and Emma, Apollo?
So when Machi went into the dressing room, Mr. Latouche had already been shot. And then we came to the door.
Panel high up. I take off. Run away. Run away.
So it was you who escaped through that air vent.
As the prosecution was upheld all along, no less. The defendants admitted to being at the scene. Might we take this as a confession?
No, he's clearly denied that he did it.
I no shooting. Manager on floor. Already on floor.
The victim had already been shot, you say? I find that hard to believe. The defendant understood the song lyrics. He was at the scene of the crime. This can only mean one thing. He's the shooter.
Does the defendant have anything to say to this?
He's clammed up, Apollo.
Then let's ask Mr. Justice. Will you require any further testimony from the witness?
Is that it? Is there nothing else I can get him to testify about? Wait, no. Of course there is.
What's this cocoon, anyway? The cocoon, the silk, is a potent cure. A cure? Well, Machi, are you a smuggler? He won't tell me.
That cocoon has to have something to do with this. Machi, please tell us the truth for your own sake.
No, no more speak. Not to any of you.
So much for your precious trust there, forehead.
Hey, you were the one who didn't believe him.
Regardless, this brings us at an impasse.
Does seem that the defense and defendant are at odds. I doubt we're likely to learn anything more of value should this continue. I see no other course but to declare a 5-minute recess. The defense will work things out with the defendant so that we might proceed.
Apollo Eustace.
That's justice. Better learn how to say it if you ever want to get some.
What an odd thing to say to a 14-year-old.
Believe I know shooting.
Oh, wait. He meant get some justice.
Machi claims Mr. Latouche was already down on the ground when he entered the room.
Maybe it was a trap and we walked right into it. Suddenly, I hear revolver. Close. Very close. Then I hear voice.
You heard gunshots?
Yes, it's true. I hear revolver, but only sound.
Wait, you're saying you went into the dressing room and found Mr. Latouche already dead, and then you heard shots? That's crazy, because he was alive when I found him.
So, you were at the scene of the crime when you heard those shots?
And you escaped through the air vent.
I know.
Huh?
What do you know? I know if I open the vent, I can leave stage and backstage.
So the vents went to both the stage and the backstage area. Is that what he means?
Hey, he's right. Look, Apollo.
Huh? Yeah. But how'd you know it was connected like that?
Wait, I bet his father was the architect that designed the hall or something. I hear this from Magician.
Magician?
Don't look at me.
A magician, huh?
Well, at least we're clear on one thing. Machi didn't shoot Mr. Latouche.
Yeah, but what does that leave us with? We're supposed to say he went into the room to find the body and then heard the shots? That one's gonna go over well in court. Not.
Apollo, you're his defense. You're supposed to believe whatever he says, even lies. That's what Daddy always told me.
I'll just pretend you misheard him. Every time. So what do we do?
You're sure you won't testify, Machi? No talking. No. Well, it was worth a shot.
That cocoon.
I can't go home.
Can't go home?
I can't go home to Virginia. I do not want to go home. The penalty for taking a cocoon from Virginia is death.
That's right. It's punishable by death. Of course, he's scared. Oh well. I guess we'll just have to try a different approach.
That's the spirit, Apollo. The spirit of justice, you could say. So what's your plan?
If Machi won't testify about it, we'll have to get someone else to testify.
Someone else?
I think we're out of time. Let's get back in there.
Right.
Court is now back in session. Mr. Justice, have you sorted things out with the defendant?
Yes, Your Honor. We had a good talk.
Very well. So will he testify?
Your Honor, the defendant will not testify.
What?
Shame. And here I thought this was your big chance to turn the case around.
Actually, it is. The defense would like to approach this case from a different angle, Your Honor.
A different angle?
If Machi won't testify, then I know who will. I'd like to cross-examine the witness in this case, Le Miroir.
Le Miroir?
What are you up to now? I thought we determined yesterday that Le Miroir's testimony was insubstantial. There's nothing you can...
Le Miroir was taken to the hospital yesterday with injuries.
What happened?
She was assaulted, Your Honor.
Assaulted?
Someone wanted Le Miroir dead. Thankfully, she was able to save herself.
What? I've heard no such report.
Prosecutor Gavin, why would anyone be out to kill Le Miroir? Can you think of a reason?
Well,
think of how she's known in our country. A singer from overseas who doesn't speak English, yes? Yet someone tried to keep her mouth shut. Who could that have been?
You don't think...
I do. It was the same person who shot Mr. Latouche. The killer was afraid of her, afraid of what she might say. The defense believes that something was hidden in her testimony yesterday. Something that the killer doesn't want getting out.
so am I to understand that this is what you're saying? Namely, that there's a nugget of truth in Le Miroir's testimony. A nugget that we have yet to uncover?
Exactly.
If Le Miroir was attacked, this has serious implications. Very well. There were some vague points in her testimony during yesterday's trial. Perhaps we did not inquire as deeply as we might have into stone. The court will hear Le Miroir's testimony once more.
Le Miroir, I must apologize. We must ask you to stand again and speak.
You need not apologize. I know that Machi is innocent, and I will do all that I can until the court recognizes this.
Let's review your testimony from yesterday. You told us you heard 2 gunshots and the shooter's voice through the window, and that the voice belonged to Darian Crescend, yes?
That is correct.
At which point I proved she could not be correct. She couldn't have heard any of those things. The small window at the scene was closed and found to be quite soundproof.
You have nothing to say to that, Mr. Justice?
I don't know exactly what yet, but I do know there's something there.
There is, it seems, not much you do know. There is, it seems, much you do not know.
And yet it is my duty to hear him out. Perhaps the witness would be so kind as to testify once more to the court.
Of course, Your Honor. I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. That's when I heard them, Mr. Latouche and the detective. I heard the faint sound of a gunshot and stopped. That's when I heard another gunshot. There was the smell of gunpowder. I knew I must tell someone, but I was in a hurry, so I kept moving past the small window.
Pretty much the same as yesterday's testimony.
I'm sorry. I am not used to speaking much in this language. Perhaps my descriptions are lacking in some way. Yet everything I have said here is truth.
Then it's my distinct pleasure to say this. What you said to have happened is impossible.
Do I have to repeat myself? Le Miroir was attacked because of this testimony. What, Trucy?
Apollo, you know, for a moment there, you're pretty cool.
Maybe I do better when I don't try to think ahead.
Very well, Mr. Justice. Perhaps you can coolly cross-examine the witness.
Too hot.
Is something wrong?
I know I said hold it, but she's saying the same thing she said before.
Mr. Justice?
Sorry, it's nothing. Please continue with your testimony.
Now I know what they mean about the reckless youth these days.
The one in red over there is a shining example, Air Judge.
You're the last person who should be pointing fingers, Mr. Rockstar. Darian Crescend?
I did not know his name at the time. But yes, it was him, the one who took the stand yesterday.
How many times do I need to remind you that's impossible? There's no way you could have heard him.
Because the window at the scene was closed? Is that why?
Of course.
Apollo, if we keep asking the same questions as yesterday, we won't get anywhere.
She's right. Maybe there's a different angle I can try. Lamirwar, do you by any chance remember what they were saying to each other? If so, please tell us.
I have given it much reflection, but
I was afraid of this. She doesn't remember.
I only heard one phrase clearly.
A whole phrase?
You remember something that was said?
Why didn't you say anything yesterday?
Though my memory is clear, I was afraid to speak. You see, I do not understand what was said.
This could be it. The clue I've been waiting for. Well, what did he say?
It was other man speaking, not Mr. Letus.
The shooter, then. Darian Crescend.
Well, what did he say?
It's over. Press the switch, now.
Switch? But the shooter said this to the victim, Mr. Letus.
I thought it quite strange myself afterward.
It is a mystery. What could it possibly mean? Mr. Justice, care to shed some light on this?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I'd be delighted. It's, very, very vital. Maybe we should add that to the testimony.
Maybe, Apollo? From the small window, I heard the voice say, press the switch, now.
And it was Detective Darian Crescend's voice?
Yes, I am sure of it.
It's over, press the switch. Why would he say that to Mr. Letus?
Apollo, the murder weapon, the revolver, was Mr. Letus's, right?
Yeah, what of it?
Well, maybe when he said press the switch, he really meant to say pull the trigger. Because his English isn't so good.
Darian Crescend is a native speaker.
Oh, right, sorry. I kind of forgot who was what.
Press the switch. That's not something a killer usually says to their victim, is it?
Was there no one else in the room?
I do not know. All I heard was Mr. Letus and the detective.
I think I know what it was. But I'm gonna save just in case, because this is one of those cases where I'm not objecting to anything. I'm presenting evidence to agree with something, because there's no dedicated agree mechanic like in Danganronpa. Objection! Yeah.
Press the switch. There's only one key that can unlock the mystery of those words.
Oh? Yet there was nothing at the scene that could be called a switch, save the lights.
True, there wasn't a switch at the scene. But it just so happens I have a switch right here. I'm playing Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy on it.
That certainly doesn't look like a switch, does it?
Yeah, it's a third-party controller, sorry about that. This was found at the scene of the crime, this was found not at the scene of the crime, but on the stage.
The stage?
Where the concert was held, yes. This was found hidden there.
On the stage?
Are you claiming that the voice Lemiroir heard was of someone commanding another to press this switch?
It's a possibility.
Oh, Air Forehead, I'd call that an impossibility.
Why?
It's hardly necessary for me to remind the court of the layout in the concert forum. The stage is quite far from Lemiroir's dressing room. Not to mention that the Gavinners were in the middle of a concert on said stage. We aren't known for being a quiet band. You could shout all you wanted and not be heard.
The detective's voice is loud, but certainly not a shout.
So too have Air Forehead's cries of possibility fallen far short of being heard.
Sorry, but he wouldn't have needed to shout.
Excuse me?
You heard what I said, or do you need me to shout it out for you? It would have been quite simple to be heard on the stage from that dressing room. Oh wait, you like evidence, don't you? How about this? Using this, it'd be easy to get the message to someone on stage from the dressing room.
Headset!
Prosecutor Gavin, perhaps you're familiar with this.
Why, that's...
What? What is it? Is that some kind of newfangled phone they invented while I wasn't looking?
Your Honor, how far behind the times are you? This is a type of transmitter, a communications device.
Communications device?
Are you Patrick Starr, Your Honor? Everyone on the stage was wearing one of these. Isn't that right, Prosecutor Gavin?
Yes, actually. They're for talking between band members. We all had one on.
So you admit that if you were wearing one of these, talking from the backstage to the stage would be simple.
True, but wait. Those send out an electronic signal. To avoid interference with the audio systems, their range is quite limited.
Lemiroir said it was about 30 feet, right?
Look at this cross-section of the diagram of the concert room. Every time I do, it makes me lost section of the diagram of the courtroom. Or dressing room, concert forum. Sorry, I don't know what's going on anymore. I'm making too much money. Exactly. The walk from the stage to the backstage seems far, but the direct distance is less than 30 feet.
That can't be.
So when Lemiroir heard the shooter's voice, he could have been talking to someone on stage.
You're claiming this is the switch in question? Why did it have to be on the stage? Or why did it have to be on the stage at the time? It could be placed in a pocket and carried anywhere. Someone could have hid it on the stage after the fact.
Hey, he's got a point. How do we know where it was when she heard the voice? When the shooter said press the switch?
Well, I guess we don't.
Unfortunate situation. I'm afraid that until we know where the switch was, there's little point in debating it.
Ugh. I was sure this was the way to go with this.
What is this switch anyway? We don't even know that basic fact.
Wait a second. I do know what this switch is. And if you follow that train of logic to its incredible conclusion, it ends up in proof that completely changes this case.
What's up, Apollo? Apollo?
We know about this switch, right? We know what it is.
Yeah?
Well, think of when it was used that day. Think of what happened.
Well, Mr. Justice, if you have no further information to share concerning this switch...
Your Honor?
Yes, Mr. Justice?
I've been remiss in not telling the court this before. I know what this switch is.
Well, it seems the defense is set upon linking this switch to the case. Let's see your evidence of the link. What evidence do you have to explain what this switch is?
Igniter!
Prosecutor Gavin, you remember this?
Ugh, what's that?
That what? Is this another one of those newfangled phones?
Yeah, it sets your ear on fire.
Igniter? You mean like it's like a lighter?
Yes, actually. You know, lighter and igniter rhyme. That's an easy way to remember it.
You aren't saying this switch is remote?
I am. This is a remote trigger for an igniter.
What?
Look, I'll show you.
Mr. Justice, you'll cease and desist from burning down this courtroom.
Sorry. That was a bit more fire than I expected.
If my whiskers are caught on fire, everyone would know I'm a furry.
Prosecutor Gavin, let me repeat myself. This switch is a remote trigger igniter. Doesn't that suggest something to you?
You're talking about what happened to me, aren't you? Ah,
Exactly. That night at the concert, where there was one unusual burst of flame, when your guitar caught fire in the middle of your performance.
Wasn't that part of the stage show, though?
Prosecutor Gavin was entirely unaware such a thing had been planted, and the guitar that burned was a valuable keepsake.
That's right. He got it in Burgundia from Le Miroir. He said the sound was amazing, before it burned, of course. Now it just kind of smokes.
the better the guitar, the brighter it burns. Her forehead.
Yes?
Don't tell me you're trying to tie these two things together. Those being the shooter's voice heard by Le Miroir, and the guitar suddenly catching on fire?
I am. It's really simple when you think about it. Mr. Latouche and the shooter were at the crime scene. The shooter was wearing a headset. He ordered someone on stage to press the switch. The switch was pressed and the guitar caught fire.
Well, that does seem to make sense. Though something about it is bugging me. Can't quite put my finger on it.
Really? Seems pretty simple to me. And the only thing my finger on is my forehead.
Her forehead, don't destroy what little respect I have for you. I was expecting something a little more sensible. Guess I was wrong.
What's this all about, Prosecutor Gavin?
His simple story simply makes no sense. Think. That night my guitar caught fire, yes. The cause may have been this indeed. However, the guitar caught fire during the second set.
That's right, of course. The guitar caught fire during Le Miroir's song.
Indeed. Yet the shooting happened during the third set. The two are utterly unrelated.
Yes, that must have been what was bugging me. The whole premise for this is faulty.
See? His story makes no sense.
Are you sure about that?
What exactly do you mean, Mr. Justice?
Maybe it's not the premise for my explanation of the switch that's at fault. Maybe it's our premise for the entire case so far.
What premise is this specifically?
I'm glad you asked. I'm saying that maybe the killing didn't take place in the third act.
What's this? But Detective Emma Skye heard shots and found the body. All this happened during the third act.
Gunshots rang out, and according to his testimony, Machi was in that dressing room at the time.
Where are you going with this, Mr. Justice?
Stay with me, Your Honor. He also told us this in his testimony, namely that the victim had already been shot. We all heard gunshots, but no one saw the shooting.
This is insane.
Just before the shooting took place, the shooter was heard on his headset, telling someone to press the switch. The next moment, Prosecutor Gavin's guitar burst into flame. We know that a remote-triggered igniter was inside the guitar. From all these facts, we can draw only one conclusion. The crime did not take place during the third act, but during the ballad performance, the second act.
What?
Order! Order! But that goes against the evidence.
What does, Your Honor?
This crime was carried out according to the lyrics of that song, yes?
Hey, he's right. Look. The bullet is supposed to come after the fire.
You're thinking about it the wrong way.
Huh?
Look, why would the shooter craft the events of the day to follow the lyrics anyway? It's an awful lot of trouble to go through, with little merit for the person doing it.
Well, I'm sure whoever it was had some reason.
Yes, they did. A reason that made it advantageous to follow the lyrics.
You're saying the order was reversed on purpose?
Reverse, Prosecutor Gavin?
The criminal followed the lyrics strictly, then yes. Or, if the criminal followed the lyrics strictly, then yes. The shooting would have had to come after the guitar burst into flame. Yet our forehead has raised another possibility. He's claiming that the bullet came not after, but just before the fire.
Couldn't have put it better myself. We're only meant to think that the shooting came after the guitar burst into flame. That was the criminal's objective. The crime followed the lyrics to a point, but that was a ruse. Why else would the killer risk discovery by moving the body? That was the final touch to make us think he'd followed the lyrics the whole way.
Order! Order! That would explain this most unusual situation.
It does. The killer changed the order of events to create himself an alibi. In other words, the killer was someone who had an alibi for the third set, but not the second.
I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but sadly it has. Let me tell you why your little fairy tale makes no sense at all. Oh, it sounds good, I'll give you that. You've given us a reason why the killer bothered following the lyrics of my song. But I question your logic. For it's flawed from the very beginning.
Flawed?
Yes, a contradiction, Air Forehead. One I've pointed out several times, no less. At the time of the crime, the small window at the scene was closed. How could Lemiroir have heard a voice through it?
Oh.
I know that you'd like to divert our attention from this critical fact, but you're basing your entire line of reasoning on a false premise.
Right. Lemiroir's testimony is my entire case. That voice she heard, the shooter's voice...
What if she couldn't hear it, Apollo?
Look, what do we have? A man saying press the switch, and near the crime scene we have a switch, which acts as a remote trigger for an igniter. And last but not least, Prosecutor Gavin's flaming guitar. It can't all be coincidence, but how do I make it work?
I see a more direct line of questioning is required. When the crime scene was investigated immediately after the crime, that window was closed. Care to tell us how Lemiroir heard the voice?
A key point, to be sure. Mr. Justice, can you explain this to the court?
Okay, Justice. You've got one thing to prove and one thing only.
She wasn't anywhere near the dressing room during the second act, though. She was going through the tunnel.
Lemiroir heard a voice, and she heard it during the second set. Think, how was Lemiroir able to hear the voice? When we investigated the scene, the window was closed. The shooter had no reason to close it, had it been open either, meaning it was impossible to hear the voice of that window.
It's good to hear you making sense again. For a moment I was afraid you might be a Burgundian too.
Prosecutor Gavin's racist remark aside, as I was saying, Lemiroir could not have heard the voice through the window. So there could only be one explanation. She heard the voice from another location entirely.
What's this?
You do amuse me so. And here I thought you and your good sense were back on speaking terms. Now I'm afraid you and good sense speak two entirely different languages, like English and filthy Burgundian. Shall I interpret for you, Air Forehead? Lemiroir clearly stated she heard the voice through that small window. And there's only one small window at the scene.
Are you sure? Think about it. Isn't there another small window at the scene?
There is?
Oh, I know that look. He wants us to ask him. Very well. You claim Lemiroir heard the voice from another location. Mr. Justice, show us where this location was.
Lemiroir heard the voice from here.
From the vent.
Does this look like a small window to you, Mr. Justice?
The state of modern society can be read from numerous objects and artifacts. In a sense, anything can be a window on our society.
I didn't ask you to point out a window in society. I want a window on the crime scene.
But...
No points for trying?
Okay. Don't see the headset. That's the only other window I could imagine. Maybe I picked the wrong vent?
Alright, fuck it.
I'm on thin frozen piss here. Yeah, I'm looking this shit up. Okay, touch the left arrow at the bottom. Touch the air vent that is located directly above the stepladder. What the hell? Oh, this vent.
This is where Lemiroir heard that voice from.
But that's no small window. That's an air vent. But certainly no moon either.
What did she tell us? She said she's Burgundian, unfamiliar with our language. It's not a stretch to imagine she called this air vent a small window.
Now you've done it. You've gone beyond ridiculous and into ludicrous. So Lemiroir was up in the ventilation system listening to this man's voice?
Get back, motherfucker, you don't know me like that. Okay, what about it isn't logical?
Ha! It hardly merits saying. Why would Lemiroir be in the ventilation system? Hiding like a rat. No offense intended to her, of course.
Rats are very beautiful creatures, mind you. You've been listening to our discussion here, yes?
Yes. I admit, it's had me quite confused since yesterday.
Oh, you know, now that I think of it, yeah, this installment takes place well into the age of VTubers. Who do you think Apollo and Gavin Doshis are?
Yet the small window is closed. But why should that mean I could not hear through it? I feared our prosecutor might himself need an interpreter.
The problem here is words. The mirror, this small window through which you heard the voice. Was it up high on the ceiling of the room, not low on a wall?
Yes, it was up on the ceiling.
What?
Order! Order! I will have order!
Okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb and lock in my final answer that Apollo's Oshi is in fact Heiko's Bales, because he just like me for real. I'm gonna say Clavier's Oshi is Iris. He likes the hip sway.
Are you in fact saying that you were up above the ceiling of the room? And that's where you heard the moment of the crime?
Yes, in fact I was. I'm sorry. I never imagined it would come to such an important point.
Yes, well, why the heck were you up there?
I believe it's time for another testimony.
I'm not sure I can't.
May I remind you that this is a murder trial? We will hear your testimony. Tell us why you witnessed the ceiling.
I can't read.
Tell us why you witnessed the crime from above the ceiling of that room. Please.
Well, looks like I'm on the right track.
Yes, I was above the ceiling when I heard the voice. I had heard there was a small window there before. I was in the middle of my performance. I had no time to report what I heard. As to why I was there, I cannot say. I am bound to secrecy on this matter.
Cause a funny talking man in a top hat told you to.
Bound to secrecy?
In my line of work, one has many obligations to uphold.
But you say you were in the middle of your performance. So this did happen during the second set.
I did not witness the crime, you must understand. I only know what I heard.
Yes, but you must tell us what you were doing in detail.
That's what the cross-examination is for, yeah, Hair Forehead? Our mission in this court is to discern the truth. No obligation, no binding pact may hinder that mission.
Very well. Mr. Justice, you may begin your cross-examination.
What are you gonna do, Apollo?
I'm gonna find out the truth. She was up above that ceiling for a reason. I just have to get it out of her. Above the ceiling. Could you be more specific?
I cannot.
Because you're bound to secrecy?
Yes. To tell the truth, I was not supposed to even say I was above the ceiling. I dare not say more.
Doesn't sound like I'll be able to coax it out of her just by asking.
Well, I don't want to present all willy-nilly, just because one more mistake will cost me the case.
By small window, you mean the air vent?
I only remembered I needed to be careful of where I put my hands and feet. I cannot see the light coming through the window, of course.
The air vent grate could trip you up, certainly.
So I was walking very carefully when I heard the gunshots. Startled, I crouched and listened. That is when I heard his voice come from the room.
Darian's voice.
I knew something terrible had happened yet.
So without a word, you just let the third set start?
After they cut them close for the second set, there was still much to do.
You could have prevented this whole misunderstanding if only you told us sooner.
Yes, perhaps I could have.
I see little point in badgering the witness. What's done is done. The mind works differently when one's in the middle of a performance. Why, I've lost my voice in the middle of a show and kept on singing, completely unaware.
Singing without a voice? If only all contradictions were so obvious. If only I could get Lemiroir to talk. Pressuring her like this doesn't seem to be getting me anywhere. You heard the gunshots during the second set, during your performance. You're quite sure?
Yes. Why would I lie about the time?
Why didn't you tell us this yesterday?
No one asked me. I thought you all knew. I told you Machi was not the killer. I told you this many times.
Yes, you did. But you never told us why.
I'm sorry. I was not able to speak of it.
Unable or unwilling?
She's not talking, Apollo. What do we do?
We'll just have to prove it ourselves. As long as she's bound by the Pact of Silence, she won't talk. But if I can prove why she was up there, she'll have to admit it.
But how are you gonna do that? She was singing on the stage, Apollo. She couldn't have been up above the ceiling, too.
Yes, she could. I've got a theory as to why, too. A magic theory.
Yeah, I've got the walkthrough open because I kind of need it right now. So we present the videotape on Statement 4.
Lemiroir, truth be told, the reason for your presence above that ceiling is quite clear. Especially when you consider what happened during your performance.
What happened?
Yes, it's all right here on this video.
It's very cool that she can sing without moving her mouth.
As we can see, Lemiroir was clearly not on stage for her entire performance.
Oh,
Though it saddens me to be so realistic, Lemiroir is incapable of actually vanishing, let alone teleportation. So the only explanation is that she was hidden from view, and during that time she moved to the back of the forum.
Apollo,
What, Trucy?
it's not nice to reveal a magician's secrets, and it's against the rules.
Screw the rules, we're in court!
this is all very fascinating. But how is it possible? There's only 20 seconds between when she disappears and reappears. She couldn't have moved that fast. Is something wrong, Prosecutor Gavin?
This was his concert, his show. He knows the illusion, how the illusion was performed.
Aha!
They put tracks and a minecart in there.
Let's look at the cross-section diagram again. Here we can trace a route through the ceiling. It goes from the stage to the backstage to the rear of the forum.
Oh!
Recall Lemiroir's testimony from yesterday.
I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. There was something like a little window there. That's how I saw it.
She went from the stage to the backstage exit. A perfect description of the route above the ceiling.
Lemiroir knew of this because her path or because of her part in the illusion. But she wasn't the only one who knew.
What?
Just now in the lobby, Machi told me something.
I know. I know if I open the vent, I can leave stage and backstage.
He said that?
Oh, were you not informed, Prosecutor Gavin?
I knew about the Vanishing Act, of course. Yet I had no idea the route would be used. Yet I had no idea of the route that would be used. Why didn't that magician tell me?
Magicians only reveal the details of their acts on a need-to-know basis. They're the bread and butter of a magician's life, you know?
Which is why he bound Le Miroir to secrecy. Well, Le Miroir?
I'm impressed, Mr. Attorney. Machi was right about you.
So, what does this mean? Are you saying you used this route above the ceiling?
I did.
Well, that's that. But I'm still a little confused.
Why is that, Your Honor?
As I said before, there was very little time between when she disappeared and when she reappeared. 20 seconds tops. How could she do it so fast? Especially if she stopped to hear the shooter's voice.
That's a good question. Like, that is a long time to be going without any lyrics.
Can the witness explain this to the court?
I cannot.
Very well. Mr. Justice?
Yes?
It's all up to you. Do your thing.
What thing, Your Honor?
You need to explain how Le Miroir was able to teleport like she did. Or I'm throwing your case out with the bathwater.
Now I'm thinking of the judge's bathwater.
As I have stated before, I am not at liberty to speak of the illusion that night in detail.
Then you'll just have to tell us what you can. We'll hear your testimony on this. Mr. Justice, it will be your job to wring the truth out of her. With the bathwater.
Yes, if you would, please.
Right. I feel like a student before finals.
Good luck, Apollo. I followed the route exactly where I was instructed. There is an emergency exit in the backstage where a stagehand waited. From there, one can enter the forum on the opposite side of the stage. The plan was for me to move there in 2 minutes. I was on my way when I heard the voice.
2 minutes, you say? The mystery deepens.
I suppose it was too much to hope the judge would come up with something.
As does my curiosity. Take it away, Mr. Justice.
Right, Your Honor. All I have to do is find the contradiction between what Le Miroir is saying and what we can see plainly in the video.
I figured it out already. I'm a magician after all.
Well, tell me.
Not a chance. I can't reveal another magician's secrets. Come on.
Hey, you're supposed to be on my side here. How did you, proceed along this route?
How? Why, I walked.
But you arrived behind the forum much too fast to have been walking. Tell the truth, Le Miroir. You rode some kind of vehicle.
What? A vehicle? What vehicle?
Oh, what a novel idea. I like it.
Hey, that's not a bad guess. Wrong, but not bad.
Haha, yes. Laugh at the dumb attorney. I don't mind.
I'm sorry, but the girl is right. That vent was much too small for vehicles. It was a tight fit. Even I had to crouch when I walked. I cannot imagine a vehicle that I cannot imagine a vehicle that would fit in such a small space.
If it wasn't a vehicle, then what was it?
You had me going there for a second, Mr. Justice. Too bad. Ready for the next part?
Why do I feel like I'm some kind of quiz show? Did everyone in the concert staff know about the trick?
Not all. Only a few that were needed to help. See? Like I said, it's on a need-to-know basis.
So, not many people knew about the trick.
What were those stagehands required to do?
One needed to open the emergency exit. The door to the stairs is locked, but once through there...
So when you came back out, you were behind the audience?
Yes, that is how it worked.
Not a bad show, if I do say so myself.
That's Uncle Valen for you. The old grammar eye touch.
But on the video, you were only gone for 20 seconds. How's that possible?
That's the part I don't get either.
Yes, it would be hard to go so far in only 20 seconds.
"2 minutes?
Yes, it can be done in 1 minute if you are running.
Running? In that cramped, dark tunnel above the ceiling?
Mr. Attorney, have you forgotten? Dark or lit, it makes little difference to me.
Well, that's true, but...
So you're suggesting that on the night of the concert, you made the trip in 2 minutes?
Yes, though I nearly didn't make it in time. You see, I stopped halfway.
The mirror disappears on the video for 20 seconds. But she says she made the trip in 2 minutes. How?
If you want my professional opinion, I'll bet the answer's right there in the video.
Well, Mr. Justice, perhaps you have some evidence for us. Something that can explain the discrepancy between the video and her testimony.
I get the feeling I should save.
Dad, evidence explaining the discrepancy?
Yeah, we'll present evidence.
There's one piece of evidence that explains the discrepancy between the video and testimony. Lemire, do you happen to remember this brooch?
Aha! The brooch! We saw that yesterday, did we not?
It was found at the scene, Your Honor.
And you're bringing up this now, or you're bringing this up now, why? I thought we'd already determined when that was dropped.
So did I, but we hadn't. Take another look at the video. Here you can see she's wearing the brooch.
So she is.
Let's look a bit later.
Man, I smell something delicious. I think Papa Frog's cooking something.
What? The brooch! It's gone!
It smells like garlic and onions. What?
Yes. The brooch disappeared in the short distance of 20 seconds. The short space of 20 seconds. Which I guess you could call a distance of time. And it takes a full minute to run from the stage to the backstage. Which means there can only be one explanation. The Lemire we see before the Vanishing Act and the Lemire we see after are two different people.
What?
The brooch was found at the floor of the crime scene. And not just the floor, but the floor directly beneath the air vent. Lemire, tell me, did you drop the brooch on your way to the stage from the stage to the backstage? At the very moment you witnessed the crime? Witnessed.
Yes, I think I did.
Order! Prosecutor Gavin!
From your expression, I gather you had no idea this was the case, there, Judge. I, of course, knew about it.
What?
Don't get me wrong, I wasn't hiding it. It just never occurred to me that the switch and the shooting took place at the same time.
So, I was right? There was a switch?
There was. Just before the stage's tower rose, Le Miroir was replaced.
While we're on that subject, just who was this replacement Miroir?
Why, the man behind the illusion, Valent Grammari.
It was Grammari? That's quite the illusion, but I still don't get one thing. How did he grow his mustache back so quickly?
Yes?
The switch happened before the tower rose, correct? So you weren't on the stage.
That's right.
But this fake Le Miroir is still singing, and she's pretty good.
That's true.
Come on, Apollo. That's an easy one. They were just playing a recording.
The Gavinners aren't some kind of air guitar band, Fraulein.
Oh, you mean I'm wrong?
When we play a show live, we play live. No recordings. Perhaps you can explain, Le Miroir.
Very well.
Yes, do tell. And add it to your testimony.
I had to keep singing even while I moved.
You were singing?
Yes. Mr. Gavin expressed a dislike for recordings, so I used this.
Wait, so you were singing the whole time? Even when you were crawling above the ceiling toward the backstage?
Why should it matter where I sing, when everywhere I go is the same darkness?
But if you were singing while you were walking...
That's right. Wouldn't the shooter and the victim have heard? She was singing right over their heads, after all.
That is right.
Are you sure?
You'd have to be pretty hard of hearing to miss someone singing in the ceiling.
Once again, we come back to the state of the scene of the crime.
What state?
California.
That speaker was blaring at the time of the murder.
That's for monitoring the stage from this room. Monitoring? It pipes a real-time feed from the stage microphones. Useful for knowing when your set's coming up.
Satisfied? That dressing room was fitted with a large speaker playing a direct feed from the stage. At my request, actually.
So Le Miroir was singing in the ceiling. Sounded just like Le Miroir singing over the speaker.
Ingenious. Her voice was hidden by her voice.
Le Miroir?
I have just remembered something.
Do tell.
When I heard the noise, the gunshots, yes? It startled me, so I peed a little.
What?
I forgot the words I was supposed to sing.
The song stopped?
Thankfully, it was the very beginning of the second verse, so not many would notice.
Forehead, that mixing board I lent you, where is it?
The mixing... huh?
That machine, Apollo. The one that breaks music into tracks.
Oh, this. I'd completely forgotten about it. Let's take a listen.
Okay, so I can't mess with the mixer while she's singing. I knew it.
The song does stop there.
It does? I must have missed it.
Look at the lyrics sheet at the top of the second verse. See where it says pleasure, pleasure? Now listen again.
See, when I was singing for the first time this was played, I thought the timing of this line was weird.
This is evidence indeed. I believe we're guilty of making a terrible mistake.
The crime didn't happen during the third set. It happened during the second, during Lemiroir's ballad.
If that is true, then no one on stage during the second set could have been the shooter.
Which means that Darian Crescent could have done it. He wasn't on stage for the second set. Well, Prosecutor Gavin?
Fascinating. I don't believe I've ever seen a trial turned around quite so thoroughly. Yet one problem remains.
What's that, Prosecutor Gavin?
Herr Forehead's theory does have a certain kind of logic to it. Yet it's entirely based upon Lemiroir's testimony.
Yes, is there a problem with that?
Well, it's quite simple, though it pains me to say it. What if she's lying to protect the defendant?
But you have no proof.
All I'm saying is that the truth is yet unclear, until we hear directly from the man himself.
The man? You don't mean...
Yes. Though he is a friend and a band member, Darian Crescent must take the stand. I see no other way.
As someone with a new perspective on this case...
As a suspect, to be frank.
Finally, the rat's coming out of his hole. And I'm ready to catch him. Darian Crescent, get ready for justice.
This is as good a time as any to pause for a brief recess. The prosecution will summon the witness. Have him here and ready by the time we begin.
I'm the last man who needs to be reminded of what his duties are.
Very well. Court is adjourned for a 15-minute recess.
Though when you really think about it, Mr. Crescent's more like a shark than a rat. I miss Gura.